first A exercise. That is, these word problems are there. What is meant by measurement? Such questions are given in first day exercise. I'll be asking the students for 5 minutes each day. Okay, some students I'll ask the questions here and they have to answer. This is clear? So
Yes, sir.
you have to complete the numericals in notebook. Numericals you have to do in notebook, all the numericals along with steps. Okay. If you don't get them, ask in class. Okay. And from next week, that is Monday onwards, whenever we have class, I'll be asking you questions from exercise first day. Each day I'll be asking 2 or 3 questions. I'll be asking 2 or 3 students. Okay. Each day. So prepare first day well. Okay. Now first B, we are skipping first B part of the chapter for time being. First B we are skipping for time being. Okay.
Sir.
Yes.
Question answer ourselves.
Okay, I'm not getting clearly. Maybe you're asking question answers you have to do in notebook or not. See here, question answers you don't have to do in notebook. Only the numericals you have to do in notebook. Okay, question answers. Okay.
Question answer also.
ऊपर कंप्यूटर से सब है.
Okay, your voice is not clear. Okay, listen. Numericals you have to do in notebook. Question answers you don't have to do in notebook. Okay, question answers, go through them, find out the answers. If you feel that is it requires you to frame the answers, write somewhere, practice them. Okay, so question answers I'll be asking in class. I'll be asking them in class. Question answers of exercise first day. Okay, you don't have to do in notebook. Okay, numericals, don't write the questions, just solve them in your notebook. Okay, numericals you have to do in notebook. Okay, now first B, see here, last year first B was omitted, that is it was removed from the syllabus. Okay, so I'll be following the syllabus of last year till new syllabus come. Okay, so for time being we are not going to do first B part of the chapter. Okay, we will start with first C. Okay, so first B, whenever the new syllabus comes, we will do the first B. Okay, so we are starting with first C. So go through the chapter first day. Any doubt you can ask any day. So we just go through them, study them well, do the numericals. If you are doubt or you are not able to do any numericals, so you are getting wrong answer, you can ask them. Okay, during the class. So we are starting with with first C. That is measurement of time and simple pendulum. So using pendulum, that is, we are going to measure the time, measurement of time, and we will be discussing simple pendulum. Okay, so you have seen clock in your house. Okay, mainly we don't use pendulum clock, but you have seen a clock like this. Okay, and there is a one pendulum here. Okay. Something like this pendulum, or different designs and different shapes are there of the pendulum. You have seen the pendulum. It's just to and fro motion. Okay, around a fixed point, it moves to and fro. This is called as pendulum. You have seen these kinds of clocks. Okay, so we'll be discussing, and these repeats periodically. These to and fro motions they repeat periodically. So we'll be discussing a simple pendulum. Okay, so first we are discussing principle of simple pendulum. We are discussing principle of simple pendulum. So here, what kind of ideally we take? See here, a point mass we are taking. A heavy point mass we are taking. It is suspended by a massless insensible string. This string is, see here, this mass, this point mass, it is very heavy. Okay, and it is suspended using a string. Using a string. What kind of string? It is massless and inextensible. That is, with a change in temperature, it does not change in dimensions. It doesn't expand nor contract with change in time. So such string we need. But see here, in reality, is it possible? That is, we can have a string which is massless. It is not possible. These are ideal cases. These are ideal cases. That is, ideally, we are considering that this must be kind of pendulum we must have. This kind of pendulum we must have. A pendulum who's having a point mass, and it must be very heavy. That is not even possible. And a string which does not have any mass. That is not possible. Even inextensible. That is, with change in temperature, it should not change in dimension. That is, contract or expand. That is even not possible. That is, there is no such string which is massless or which is inextensible. Okay. So this is our ideal case. It must be there. So practically, what we'll have? We will have a heavy mass. Instead of point mass, we'll have a kind of a ball. The kind of a ball we'll be having, and it will be heavy mass. And this is called as ball. This metallic ball, metallic heavy ball, it is called as ball, and it is suspended using a string with a rigid support. Other end is supported on the rigid support. Okay, this is fine. So this is our ball, and this is the string. Now it can move to and fro. That is, on both sides it can move. So this is the resting position. This is the rest position of the ball. It hangs like this. It's the rest position. This is called as mean position. Mean position of the pendulum or the ball. It is called as mean position. Now around this mean position, it can move this side, this side. So it's a to and fro motion. So once it can move this side, so its position will be this one. This is the one extreme position. That is one extreme end. Now this pendulum, it moves on one side, back to its mean position. Now to the other side, back to its mean position. Okay. This is other extreme motion. This is A position, B position. This is now B position, O. This is clear. Now, what will be the length of the pendulum is taken? For taking the length of the pendulum, we take the center of gravity of the mass, center of the sphere we take, and from this point where it has been attached to the rigid support. This length is being calculated. This length is length of the pendulum. This length is L, is called as length of the pendulum. This is clear. Now see here how we can measure time. So this will be doing the oscillations, that is to and fro motions. To and fro motions it will be moving, and using how many oscillations it is making. These periodic oscillation we can calculate the time. One oscillation, two oscillations, three oscillations. So as per these oscillations we can calculate the time. That is to and fro motion. Periodic motion is there about the mean position. Okay. So there are some terms related to simple pendulum. We will be discussing that. First is oscillation. First we are discussing is oscillation. What does oscillation mean? This to and fro motion of the simple pendulum. That is called as oscillation. So it is one oscillation is how much? One to and fro motion. That is one complete to and fro motion of the bob of the pendulum is called as one oscillation. Now see how we are going to calculate. One complete to and fro motion. This is the mean position. It will move this side. So from O, okay, in book it has moved from O to A to B. Okay, so that way only we take. Okay, one complete to and fro motion. So it moves to one extreme position. From O to A it moves. Now it comes back to the mean position. It comes to the main position. Goes on this side, on the other extreme position. This is our B position. And from here, it comes back to the B position. This is one complete cycle, that is one oscillation. That is, from B position moves to one extreme position, moves to the other extreme position, back to B position. This is one cycle. This is called as one cycle, one oscillation. Okay? From here it starts, move this side, moves to the extreme position, comes back to the main position. This is one oscillation. Always remember this is called as one cycle or one oscillation. One complete to and fro motion. One complete to and fro motion is called as one oscillation. So from O to A to B, B to back to O. This is called as one complete oscillation. This is one complete oscillation, one cycle. Oscillation is clear. Anyone have doubt with oscillation? Okay. Second is time period. Time period. That is how much time this bob is taking. That is how much time the pendulum is taking to complete one oscillation. Time taken to complete one oscillation. Time taken to complete one oscillation. Understood this one? This is time period of the pendulum. That is how much time this pendulum is taking to complete one oscillation. How much time the pendulum is taking to complete one oscillation, that is called as time period. It is denoted with capital T. Right. And it is measured in seconds. So T is the time period taken by the pendulum to complete one oscillation. The number of oscillations in T seconds, how much? How many number of oscillations in T seconds? One oscillation. In T seconds, number of oscillations, how much? 1 second. T is the time period of the pendulum. That is, to complete one oscillation, it takes one T time. That is, the time taken to complete one oscillation is called as time period. So in T times, it will complete one oscillation. Okay. So in T seconds, how many oscillations are taking place? One oscillation, here number of oscillations. Any doubt? Is this clear? In T seconds, what number of oscillations? One. In 1 second, how many oscillations? In 1 second. Anyone in class? 1 by T oscillations. In 1 second, how many oscillations? 1 by T oscillation. Understood this one? In T seconds, 1 oscillation. In 1 second, divided by this 1 by T oscillations. Okay. Now see here, what it denotes? Frequency. It denotes frequency. What do you mean by frequency? Number of oscillations. Number of oscillations in 1 second. Okay. So how we are going to calculate? Okay. See here. Mean position is there. Now starts the stopwatch. As well, pendulum starts to move. So how many? 2 to and fro motions it is making in 1 second, that will give us the frequency of oscillation. In 1 second, how many times it moves? That is, it completes the oscillation. In 1 second, how many oscillations it is making? In 1 second, how many oscillations it is making? That is the frequency of oscillation. Understood this one, frequency of the pendulum. In 1 second, number of oscillations made is called frequency. So, in 1 second, how many oscillations it is making? In terms of time period, 1 upon. So, how frequency is related to time period? 1 upon t. They are inversely related. Yes or no? In 1 second, how many oscillations? 1 upon t. So, number of oscillations made in 1 second is called frequency of the pendulum. So, these terms are clear: oscillations, time period, frequency. How frequency and time period are related? Frequency equal to 1 upon t. Because we are seeing in t seconds, 1 oscillation is made. Yes?
Sir, we used to denote the frequency with the term mu, but now we are denoting it with the term s.
Okay, we can denote with mu as well, no issues. Frequency we denote with mu as well, no issues. Here we can denote with f as well. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. This is clear. Okay.
Yes.
So oscillations, time period, and frequency. 3 terms we are discussed. 4th term we are discussing is amplitude. And this relation you must know. Okay. We'll discuss a little bit more details on this afterwards. Okay. Amplitude. So, how we define amplitude? How much far it moves. How much far the bomb moves from its mean position. So, maximum displacement of the bomb from its mean position. That will give us the amplitude. For example, OB is the amplitude, or OA is the amplitude, because these distances are same. Okay, amplitude means it is the distance. Okay, amplitude, the maximum displacement of the bomb from its mean position. The maximum displacement of the bomb, that means how much bomb has been displaced. That is, this will give us the amplitude. So this distance OB is the amplitude. Okay, how much maximum it has moved. Or you are seeing the form of wave. This maximum, it is called as amplitude. You have studied this one as well. Okay. Now, effective length of the pendulum. Effective length of the pendulum, how we are going to take? Okay. This is our bomb, and this is the length of the string. Okay. Effective length, how we are going to take? We are going to mark the center of gravity. That is, center of the sphere we take. Bobby is a sphere, metallic sphere. Now, length from this point. So, this is the effective length of the pendulum. Okay. So, length of the string plus radius of the bob. Length of the string plus radius of the bob will give us the effective length of the simple pendulum. This will give us the effective length of the simple pendulum. So, from the point of suspension to the center of gravity, that is center of the bob. This is effective length. Length of the string plus radius of the sphere. Understood this one? This is clear? So till now we have discussed oscillations. It is number of 1 to and fro motion. It's called as one oscillation. Time period, time to take it, time taken to complete one complete oscillation. Then frequency, number of oscillations in 1 second. Amplitude, maximum displacement of the bob from its mean position. maximum displacement of the ball from its mean position. Then effective length, the distance between point of suspension to the center of gravity of the ball. This is clear. Now measurement of time period of a simple pendulum. We have to measure the time period. That is to complete one oscillation. What is the time taken? We have to measure. So this is one SQL evaluation. How to measure the time period of the simple pendulum. Now see here, for this we suspend the ball with this string and this length, effective length we have calculated. So we will be making one table. Here. Serial number, your effective length we have taken. Length or simply length we can say. Length. Next one, number of time for 20 oscillations. Time for 20 oscillations. Here, time here, capital T we can take. Okay. Then L upon T square. Okay. So leave this for time being. Okay. Now see what we are going to do. We have suspended the ball. We have measured the length. This length we have measured. So initially this length we have taken as 25 centimeters. Fine. Okay. We have taken this length is in centimeters. So this length we have taken 25 centimeters. And now we move slide with the ball. Okay. Then we release it. Okay. So from this position as well we can calculate the number of oscillations. 1 oscillation, 2 oscillations, 3 oscillations. So till it completes 20 oscillations, we are measuring the time. So from here we release, it starts to oscillation. At the same time, we have started our stopwatch and we are measuring the time for 20 oscillations. That is how much time it is taking to make 20 oscillations. And for example, it comes out to be 20 seconds. So what will be the time period? For 20 oscillations, time taken is 20 seconds. For one oscillation, time taken is 20 seconds.
1 second.
1 second. So what will be the time period? 1 second. This is our first observation. Okay. Similarly, for different length we will make. We are changing the length. Here there is something more we are doing. So using this we can measure the time period. We have measured the time period. We have measured the time period 1 second. Okay. Now there is something more than that we are going to do. Okay. There is something more than that is L upon T square. So time period we can easily measure. That is, make the pop to move 20 seconds for make 20 oscillations, and how much time it has taken? We divide it by the 20 oscillations. We get the time period of the. Okay. Now we are saying if we vary the length. Now next part in the assessment is we are saying if we vary the effective length of the ball, whether it affects the time period or not, whether it is going to affect the time, how it is going to affect the time period. Okay. So we are going to calculate the variation of length with respect to square of the time period. Okay. So see here, this time we have changed the length, and length we have taken is 36 centimeters. Again, 20 oscillations we gave, and we calculated the time. This time it took 24. It took 24 oscillate time seconds. 24 seconds to complete 20 oscillations. So to complete one oscillation it will be how much? 1.2 seconds. 24 divided by 20. So 1.2 seconds it is taking this time. Similarly, for different readings we did. Different length we did. And for example, 400 centimeters of length of effective length we have taken, and time taken for 20 oscillations is 40 seconds. So what the time has become? Time period will be how much? 2 seconds. 2 seconds. Now, do you see something here?
Sir, 2.5.
Yes. Okay. See here, we already calculated the time period. Now we are seeing something more. That is how, if we vary the length, how the time period is varying. Okay. If vary the length, how the time period is varying. You see here, when the effective length was 25 centimeters, time period was 1 second. Time period was 1 second. When the effective length is 100 centimeters, time period becomes 2 seconds. So what you see, if we are increasing the effective length, if we are increasing the effective length from 25 to, okay, I take to that side. So here I write length, okay, 25 centimeter, it is 1 second. And when it is 100 centimeter, it has become 2 seconds. Okay. When we are making length 4 times, when we are increasing the length 4 times, time get doubled, time period get doubled, that is 2 times. Understood this one, the relation? As we are increasing the length 4 times, time periods get doubled. Time periods get doubled. That is, it is increasing 2 times, length is increasing 4 times. Okay. Now see here, if we square the time period, okay. So here we have length, here we have time, here we have time square. Length was 25, it has become 100. Change was 4 times. Time period 1 second to 2 seconds. So how much? 2 times. Okay. Here t square 1 second square, or 1 you can write, and it has become 4 times. So 4 times. Okay. So this you can see, if you are taking L and T square, 4 times, 4 times. That means L upon T square is always a constant. L upon T square is always a constant. L upon T square, take it 25. 100 divided by 4. Again we are getting 25. So in all those cases we have L upon T square as 25. That is L upon T square is constant. Okay. Or we can say how the T is varying. How the T is varying. How T is proportional to L? Root of L. T is proportional to root of L? Yes or no? It is 2 times change. Here it is 4 times. So 4 times, root of 4 times change, it will be T. Or we can say T square proportional to L. You can see here as well. Okay, take these 2 cases. Okay, T1 proportional to root L1. Here T1 we are taking 1 second, proportional to root of 25. Okay, T2 proportional to root L2. Here T2 we are taking 2 proportional to root of 100. Yes or no? You can see here. If we simplify this one, 2 proportional to, take the root of this one, 25 4s, 4 into 25 we can write, 2 proportional to 2 root 25. 2 get cancelled, 1 proportional to root 25. We are getting the same. So, how T is related with length? T is proportional to root L, or making square on both sides. T square is proportional to L. Okay, T square is proportional to L. Now, if we draw the graph,
The time over.
okay, 1 minute I will take this one to discuss. Okay, so you study this one again, and tomorrow again we can discuss this one. This is a bit better. So if you are drawing the graph between T square and L on x axis t square on y-axis. So plot them. Plot these values. 25, it's 1 second. So with respect to 25, 1 second. 1 square. Okay. With respect to 36, 1.2 square value you plot. Okay. If you plot, you will get a straight line. The slope is what? What will be the slope of this one? T square upon L, and that comes out to be constant. That slope will always be a constant. 1 upon 25, 1 upon 25, that will be the value. Okay? So this graph you go through it, slope you go through it. Okay? We'll discuss them tomorrow. Okay?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Sir,
So we
attendance
will
is taken in every period or in first period only?
see, I don't know that I'm taking attendance in every period is available. The report will be available in every period. I'm taking every period. I'm going through the attendance report. See, after 5 minutes, the attendance report is prepared by Microsoft Teams. I've shown you the attendance report.
Yes.